I don't know about you, but whenever gold prices skyrocket, it drives me crazy. I ask myself, will my 401k be wasted by inflation? Should I buy gold, or is it in a bubble? If I buy gold, should I buy stocks, ETFs, or bullion? With a peer-reviewed due, I decided to watch videos from investment sites to get some direction. If you're not looking for investment advice, why should you care? Because investment advice is information, and you can learn a lot from how these sites, which include CNBC, The Wall Street Journal, and TheStreet.com, present their information. I'll discuss findings in 4 areas: technical specs, content analysis, video presentation, and mistakes to avoid. Let's get started. The average resolution was 507 by 318, with TheStreet.com topping the charts at 720 by 405, and Bloomberg slumming it down at 320 by 240, though Bloomberg displayed their video in a larger window. More on that in a moment. The average video data rate was 614 kilobits per second, with TheStreet.com again on top at 1.1 megabits per second, and The Wall Street Journal at an efficient 443 kilobits per second. I downloaded files in 3 configurations from TheStreet.com, which likely meant that they were using some kind of adaptive streaming technique. The stream configurations were 720 by 405 at 1.12 megabits per second, 640 by 360 at 746 kilobits per second, and 424 by 240 at 600 kilobits per second. 10 of the videos were produced at the video's native frame rate, either 24 or 29.97 frames per second, while Bloomberg produced at 15 frames per second, and Money Control, a site out of India, producing at 12 frames per second. All sites use Flash for computer-based viewers, with no Silverlight and no HTML5. In terms of codec, 8 sites used VP6, 3 used H.264, and 1 used H.263. 5 of the sites offered an iPad version. The overall average bits per pixel was 0.190. However, the average for H.264 videos was 0.108, while the average for all others, primarily VP6, was 0.217, over twice as high. If you're still using VP6 for free internet content, you should definitely consider switching to H.264. On the audio front, audio data rates averaged 78 kilobits per second and ranged from 37 to 128 kilobits per second. Despite using almost exclusively mono sources, 10 of the 12 sites produced using stereo. I recommend producing in mono, but these sites certainly aren't listening. The average length of the videos was about 3.5 minutes long, with the Bloomberg interview I analyzed about 11.5 minutes long, and several videos right around a minute. In terms of introductions, most videos get right to the point. The average time for an opening animation was just 4 seconds, with 3 videos jumping right in with no intro. The average B-roll percentage for videos that use B-roll was 33%, with some videos as high as 80%, though this counted graphics shown on the screen at the same time as the videos, like you're seeing now. As you would expect, when presenting factual information, the B-roll tended to support the facts. For general discussions, I saw a lot of generic footage like this. Several sites scaled their videos upwards for presentation on the web page, which I consider a bad strategy. For example, here's Bloomberg, who encoded at 320 by 240, and the video looks sharp and clear. However, they presented at about 502 by 378, which looks a bit faded and grainy. And here's Forbes, who encoded at 480 by 270, again looking sharp, but presented at about 670 by 383, which again looked pixelated. Bottom line, whenever possible, don't scale your video for presentation. Encode at your target display resolution. Regarding social media, 9 of 12 sites enabled an email link, 7 of 12 embedding, and 11 of 12 had a link to a social media site, most frequently Facebook with 12, Twitter at 10, Dig at 6, and LinkedIn at 4. What about mistakes? Not too bad. We had pinstripes at TheStreet.com, which as you can see here don't work. Several sites forgot to deinterlace. Remember, shoot in progressive when you can, and if you can't, or use interlace B-roll, remember to deinterlace. We had this rule of thirds violation, and several weak audio files. The street was way too low, and this audio file from moneycontrol.com was overcooked like a bad Thanksgiving turkey. So, that's my analysis of the investment sites. But what did I do investment-wise? Well, I bought gold, and as they say, I caught a falling knife. It's been dropping like a stone ever since. I'm Jan Ozer. Thanks for watching.